Hello, everyone, and welcome to Metal Matrix, all things gaming. Welcome, and this will be probably a regular occurrence, I'm hoping, on this channel of doing videos. Usually, all I do is shorts of my gameplay while I'm streaming. What better way to start than the big controversy that has come out? Well, actually, I wouldn't say controversy, the uproar from everybody that's played World of Tanks, than the new loot box system that Wargaming has proposed, or actually not proposed, that is being released. And they did some changes from yesterday, and I'll go through those changes quickly, but I'm not going to delve too much into it because you can check Quickie Baby, Skills, Damien's, Talk to Me Goose's channel on YouTube and see what the gist of it is, because it's definitely a eye opener in regards to the way wargaming is doing. And if you haven't known, wargaming is changing the loot box system to a tier loot box system where you can only buy the common one with a chance of getting a box for alpha, rare, prime, epic. And in those, you will have one new tank in the alpha and three new tanks in the prime, with three new tanks in the proto, or common as we call it. And let's just quickly show you here. There you go. I'm up here on the proto, so I apologize. But you see that you got a couple of tanks, and then you get the chance of getting another proto or a rare or an epic. I'm not going to go through the names of them. And if you get a rare, then you can get a chance again to get another rare or another proto or get an epic. And then when you get an epic, you can get a 20% chance of getting any of these three. Now, the chances of getting each one of these, Wargaming doesn't say in regards to moving up the stages, whether this is equal or at the common, you will get more of the other two than you will get the proto, or the alpha, whether you get more of the epic. They haven't mentioned that. And I'm just quickly delving in that. And then you get a chance of getting all these rare tanks. You can go through and check again in regards to that online, or check all the other YouTubers out there. The reason I'm making this video is because I have been playing World of Tanks since open beta. I have been upset. I've been disappointed in Wargaming, but I have never been more disgusted, more outraged than I am right now in regards to the greed in regards to what Wargaming is doing right now for World of Tanks. Now, don't get me wrong. Wargaming has every right to make money. I'm not questioning that. But since beta, they have been steadily increasing the monetization of this game. Case in point, they will sell tanks with stuff in it that you don't want for an upper class price, to inflate the price for that one tank that you may want to get. Slowly over time, they've changed the way the loot boxes worked. They changed the way the battle pass. It used to be you could reasonably get the battle pass done and get a nice free tank for all your hard work, but they have steadily increased the grind for it. And then at the beginning, they used to give, the special 3 weeks or whatever it was to get this one tank that you could get, grind it out, if you really worked hard, and made it to the point that it's almost next to impossible unless you play almost every single day for 5 hours a day. Now, I'm not surprised that they're trying this right now. After they released the Wolf and Trigger E100 for 100,000 gold which went in 16 seconds on the servers for that price. That is equivalent to 560, I think it was 67 Canadian dollars. Now that would be approximately about maybe 350 American for one tier 10 tank. Now, according to the powers to be out there, if you don't have any of these tanks, it would cost you to get all of them $1,600 US. If you have luck, it's a little bit less. If you have all the tanks except for the new ones, it would cost you, if you have the worst luck, $1,400. If you have good luck, it could be up to 700 American dollars. Now, like I said before, I'm not surprised Wargaming is pushing the envelope to see how much people are willing to pay for tanks. This leads to the FOMO, fear of missing out on these tanks, because you might miss out on like the E25, the BZ-176, which I missed out on because I finally made a choice to say, nope, no more. Or any of these tanks. Now, there's been reviews, and I've been watching them, and they're not the overpowered like the BZ-176. However, if you're a tank collector, you're going, I want those tanks. I'm going to tell you right now, everybody, do not go out and get and spend between $1,000 to $1,400 for these tanks. I am encouraging you not to do this. Now, and what else I'm going to say is I'm going to call out the CCs on every single channel that's out there, except for a couple of them that sat there when the E100, the Wolf and Trigger E100 came out, and cried and said, well, this is a ridiculous price, but went out and got it anyway. I could afford it personally. I could have done it. I could have got the E100, but I said that is overpriced and ridiculous. Now, there are individuals that said there, well, that's your money. You look, I enjoy the game. I have fun with the game, even despite what my YouTube and my Twitch channels show. Yes, I get upset. I get stressed out. I swear and curse at Wargaming and complain about the RNG, but I enjoyed the game for the most part. And other than the last, like I said, I have been outraged in regards to this, and it's disgusted me to no end that I'm questioning myself whether or not I'm going to continue playing the game now. I've invested a lot of money in this game. I want it to continue to go, but this here is the final nail in the coffin, I think, because first of all, new players, it is a ridiculous price for the tanks. For all those tanks, your chances to get all those tanks is $1,600. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 tanks. All right. Just to let you think about that. The other thing that Wargaming changed with the loot boxes was you used to get the gold equivalent if you already had the tank, but not anymore. You will get a loot box instead. And that loot box can be all three. Can't be the one up or the one down or the one up. It could be any of them. Okay. with that being said, what was I going to? Oh, that was what I was going to say. They did do some changes. Let's get into that from yesterday. So, what they changed from yesterday is now that you buy a box, if you buy a box, you will get $100 gold for each box you buy, plus missions for 5 times experience. So so in other words, you buy 5 proto bat, you'll get 500 gold. However, what happens here is the RAM, if you get this, when you open this up, you get no gold. You get guarantee of credits. That's it. No gold. And if you already have any of these tanks down here, the old ones, you will not get the gold equivalent, unlike previous years. Like previous years, you get for the common, you up every 50th box that you open, you will guaranteed to get a tank. Now, you move on down here to the next box. If you happen to get, you will get experience. No credits, experience. Free experience. And you will also, again, get no compensation. If you got these tanks already, you'll get another loot box and it's one of the 3. Not a guarantee that you'll get the next tier up or the same tier. What they changed here is they didn't have this here to tell you how many boxes you would have to open on the second tier, and they put it in, and it's every 40th, so 10 less. Whoop-de-friggin' do, 10 less. You got a 20% chance of getting this loot box, and then you got okay. Now again, they don't tell you what your chances are in getting, if you get the alpha, what your chances are in receiving alpha again, or getting the common, or getting the next tier up. They don't have that in there. They don't say that. So you have no idea whether, if you're on the alpha, you get a little bit more chance to get the upper tier one, or more chance if it's the same one, or it's 50% across, 25, 25, or whatever it is, 33.5 or what, 35, 35, 35. All right. They don't say that. So we have no idea what to tell you. So then we go up here. The other thing they changed that wasn't in here is for the top tier, it's every 20 box you open that you will guarantee to get a tank. All right. That wasn't released until yesterday. It wasn't there. Today it was. So there might be some calculations out there that somebody has already figured out. I think somebody said to get one tank, if you had all of them, it's 46 boxes on average. Like they did 1,000 and it's an average. They did a calculator and you can check that out. It's on Talk to Me Goose's channel. So let's get back to my next thing. As I mentioned again, I call it the community contributors from last time when they complained about the Waffen-Trigger E100. Had each and every one of you refused to purchase that tank because you felt that you needed to do it for content. If you had sat there and refused to do it, the message would have been sent to the community, and the message might have been sent to Wargaming that they met the maximum price people are willing to pay. I'm twixt in between on whether or not to buy any boxes because this disgusts me. This practice that Wargaming is doing right now with this tier system loot boxes, I'm disgusted. I get it that you got to make money, but this isn't money. This is reaching out and promoting gambling at its worst, at its best, FOMO, fear of missing out. of getting those tanks. I play tanks. I'm a community. I Twitch stream World of Tanks mostly, and I'm stuck in regards to making a call. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm more than likely and probably not going to participate in this loot box system. I can afford it. But I also think it is ridiculously overpriced, a cash grab, a addiction gambling system that they have put out there, and preying on people's feeling that they might miss out on these tanks. The last time I was outraged at Wargaming since beta was when they lied to me as a purchaser of the pre-purchase order tanks and saying that they would never release that tank. That was the reason why I bought at the first. Up until then, I never bought pre-order packages. Never. But when they said, "Oh, this tank will never be sold again," that got me, and I said, "Okay, I got it." That was the FOMO. That was the FOMO in me. And I bought it because I was only, as a beta player and as a new player, pre-ordered, I get one tank that nobody else will ever get later on. And then Wargaming broke their friggin' promise, and for compensation, they gave me a camo, a 2D camo. I was pissed, and that was the first time I thought about quitting. I didn't, obviously, but this right here, I think is going to be the death kill for World of Tanks. People are going to leave. New people are not going to join because it's making it that more difficult to get tanks and costing more money than what it's worth. There are cheaper games out there to play now. And governments are starting to crack down on these type of predatory practices. And quite frankly, this right here is the worst of them all. I'm recommending to everybody, don't participate, but I can't stop you. But at least do not go out and spend all that money for a bunch of pixel tanks if you want to get the top tier, because it is way too expensive for the common person out there that can afford it. And as somebody who's a tank collector that can afford it, even I will not be. If I buy a box, it's going to be one set of boxes and that's it. I will, and if I get what I get, I will not keep going until I get all three of the top tier tanks. It ain't going to happen. But even then, I am personally thinking I'm going to skip this one and speak with my wallet to Wargaming and tell them to go pound sand. Wargaming, I'm calling you out. This is disgusting. This is the worst I've ever seen in regards to the predatory practices. And I'm sorry, but you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself for doing this. And it's been slowly increasing. You even changed the last battle pass. Disgusted me in regards to how long it was and everything and what you got out of it. This battle pass, I haven't even grinded that much. Because I just said enough's enough. Enough's enough. You're making the game to the point that it's no longer fun to play. You're making it that you must play. If you want this, you must. And quite frankly, I'm done with that. And more than likely, I'm probably going to be moving on and streaming other contents. And I'm just a small pea in the pod. I know that Wargaming won't give two rats ass. But if a lot of us small peas in the pod, including the CCs out there, turn our backs, Wargaming might turn around and realize, instead of milking everything that they can out of the top 1%, that maybe, just maybe, helping this lower 20, 70, 99% is going to make more money than milking the top 1%. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this new program or new loot box system. And quite frankly, it's up to you at the end of the day. I can't convince you. I can't convince the CCs not to buy. I know some of them are disgusted in it, but if you're that disgusted in it, then maybe you should speak with your wallet and do not buy the extra loot boxes for your other accounts. It's just me saying that. If every single one of you CCs out there did that and forego buying these loot boxes for your other accounts, EU, because I know you stream on all the different ones. I know your press account, you get loot boxes. I don't know if you get loot boxes for your regular account, but if you don't get loot boxes for your regular account, then forego it. I would. If I was a CC right now, I would stand here and tell the community that I refuse to participate in this for any of the accounts that don't get the free loot boxes. Anyways, with that being said, I know some of the community contributors were getting free loot boxes are going to be giving the money to charity, and I commend them for that. I do commend them for that. Again, speak with your wallet, people. Take care, have fun, and as always, peace out.